And now, everyone, it's time for the finals of the Energy Tech Challengers, our annual pitch battle for the most promising startups out there. After reviewing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications, the top 50 were selected by the jury. We're gathered here for a mission to discover and support the startups aiming to revolutionize climate tech. And you about to meet them. Some of them are here, and there are more later on. Before we start, let me remind you of the competition rules. Each company will have 3 minutes to present. Then the jury, our esteemed jury who are entering as you see them, jury, you will have 2 minutes to ask questions. Pitchers, I will stop you when there's no time left. Okay? You have a clock, but if I have to interrupt you, I'm sorry. Jury, I'll mention the criteria again to you just to remind you. Please keep these 7 benchmarks in mind. Problem, product and service, go-to-market strategy, progress and traction, team, financing, and sustainability. Without further ado, let's open our first track on green energy infrastructure. See, we are breaking records with our jury members. So instead of subjecting you all to the marathon list of names, it's quite a tongue twister, especially for myself, we thought it'd be easier for each jury member to give your name and introduce yourselves when you're ready to grill them, so when you're ready to ask questions to the pitchers, okay? If that's okay with you, quick introduction, who you are, and your questions. So remember, you have 3 minutes, and you have 2 minutes. So let's start with our first pitch. Our first pitch today is Alice Maffezzoli, Sales and Business Development Manager at EH Group. Alice, you have 3 minutes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, now it works. Can you hear me? Yes. Good morning. My name is Alice Maffezzoli. I'm the Sales and Business Development Manager of EH Group. EH Group is a Swiss company focused on the design and manufacturing of fuel cell stacks and systems based on an innovative technology. Our purpose is to displace pollutive diesel generator with our fuel cells by solving the problem of cost and complexity in the fuel cell market. We target large power, and large power in fuel cells means stationary, maritime, aviation, and heavy-duty mobility in general. This is where, in our opinion, fuel cell makes the most sense, and this is where we have our biggest competitive advantage. So what is new about our technology? We have basically redesigned stacks at microstructural level, and the result is a stack with mainly 4 advantages: high power density, design flexibility, high system efficiency, and a great potential for cost reduction, but I'll go through it in a while. Our product portfolio includes stacks. We have 4 platforms of stacks with a 5th one under development that cover all the power from 1 to 300 kilowatt. In particular, the 300 kilowatt is a unique feature in the market. We also have systems, complete plug-and-play solution, starting from 20 kilowatt up to 250 kilowatt. A special mention for the 250 kilowatt, we just received approval in principle from DNV for maritime certification. We also provide complete containerized solution, turnkey solution based on customer requirements from 20 kilowatt up to megawatt. Our stacks are designed for manufacturing, and thanks to this, we plan to arrive to less than 100 euro per kilowatt at stack level, at scale. Since 2020, we have been deploying our stacks and systems over a large variety of applications, both in mobility, from light commercial vehicle, forklift, vessels, mining trucks, and aviation, and also stationary, backup power for data centers, CV supercharger, cold ironing, and construction sites. The company was founded in 2017 by Marit, who has over 20 years experience in fuel cells, and Christopher Brandon, whose background is more in finance. The rest of the team, we are approximately 30 people, mainly based in Switzerland, where we have production facility, testing facility, R&D, and headquarters. And a small part of our team is in India, mainly focused on the software and on some on-site activities for our Indian clients. Our business model foresees mainly two scenarios. So either normal customer-supplier relationship with sales of our standard stacks and systems, or what we really like to do is co-design and co-develop customized stacks, systems, and solutions based on the client's requirements. So up to date, we have raised 17 million Swiss francs, 70 million euros approximately, mainly from the founders, from some grants and some other investors. We are currently raising 20 million in our Series A. Part of it is still free, it's available, so we're happy to discuss. The main objective is to transition from small-scale production to large-scale production. So happy to answer your question. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Jury, is there time to ask questions?
Yes.
Hi. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on the technology? You mentioned you sort of redesigned the
Yes.
stack.
So our stack technology is quite different compared to the traditional technology of stacks. The microstructure and the way we manage the fluid is completely different. And everything comes to the fact that we have a very low cell pitch. So it's less than 1 millimeter. In the market, it's like 10, 20% more. And with the production machine, we will be able to go even lower. And thanks to this, we have this high power density, approximately 2/3 of the volume and weight than the next best thing in the market. The other advantage regarding the management of the fluid is that we are able to work at low cathode pressure, which means that inside the system, in the balance of plant, we can downgrade the compressor. So not only the system is smaller, lighter, cheaper because it has a smaller compressor, but the most important thing is that the stack doesn't need to be too much over-dimensioned to cover the parasitic losses. And at the end, it all comes to hydrogen consumption, so to system efficiency. The other advantage is that we don't lose performances by changing the form factor of our stacks. So we have basically no limitation. We can change the form factor as much as we want. And this is quite relevant for mobile application. And also linked to the way we have redesigned the stacks, we can use a complete straight-to process for the production of the stack. So the machine I showed you before is a machine designed on our stack technology. We have rolls of raw material at the beginning of the machine and a completely assembled stack at the end. This is something that with the traditional technology is quite difficult to achieve. So all of this is linked to the technology that we have.
Can you say something? You were showing a little bit of what tractions you have and what applications, but what is the current traction that you have, and where do you apply your product right now?
Yeah, so
maybe customers and
we focus on large power. So starting from 20 kilowatt, but most importantly, starting from 200 kilowatt and above. At the moment, 60–70% of our requests, they come from stationary. So stationary, which means construction sites, backup power for data center, EV supercharger, cold ironing. We see also a lot of traction in maritime. Happy to elaborate more. And aviation also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alex, thank you. Our next person up, Shwan Lamei, the CEO of Emulate Energy. Remember, you have 3 minutes for your presentation, and jury, you have 2 minutes for your questions. Welcome to our stage. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you. So again, my name is Shwan Lamei. I'm the CEO of Emulate. I got to tell you, as a startup, it's extremely soothing to see this many investors gathered up in one space. I founded the company back in 2020. I'm going to start off by kicking in a few open doors. To decarbonize and electrify the grid, we're facing trillions of dollars in investments ahead of us. At the same time, there is millions of distributed energy resources that are going to get connected to the grid during the coming decades. In fact, the flexibility from residential loads is projected to be 40% cheaper than traditional battery energy storage systems to firm up the grid as we electrify and decarbonize. This is exactly what my co-founder did his postdoc on. How can you control a fleet of flexible loads so that they collectively behave like a battery towards the grid? Essentially take the flexibility in energy consumption that you and I have and transform that into a battery equivalent resource that can be used in decreasing the cost associated with the energy transition. The product we've developed is targeting electricity retailers, and we have 2 integration points into their tech stack. The first integration point is into their mobile apps. With this, consumers or the end users can link their EVs, charging stations, any distributed energy resources they have, and we will optimize for them given the new cost-reflective tariffs that are being implemented. The second integration is into the trading desk of the utility, so that on an aggregate level, the resources get deployed into the markets as if they were a battery. This is important, and I want to highlight this, and it's been proven to us 100% in Sweden. Everything starts with the consumer experience. As long as the consumer experience is positive, as long as you're generating value for the end users, the rest of the value chain will fall into place, and everything sort of happens. We don't stop there, though. So once we get into the electricity retailer, we leverage our position and aggregate also smaller to mid-sized batteries and also charging infrastructure to deploy those directly into the markets as well for them. Look, I think this is a huge opportunity. There is a need for this type of solutions, and this is a huge opportunity. So it's attracted a lot of startups and venture capitalists. There's a lot of smart people looking at this solutions with different types of approaches. I feel very comfortable with where we are today in terms of traction. We're leading the most advanced grid in Europe, in Sweden. We're expanding across US and Europe at the same time, and we got 176 megawatts of controlled loads in the pipeline. I'm proud of the team we have. I think we equipped to do...
I will have to stop you there. I'm sorry. Everyone's going to hate me today. Sorry.
This was actually the last slide. So.
Jury, you have 2 minutes for questions, please. Questions, Mike.
Hello. Hello, good morning. Thank you for your presentation. Julian Gallardo from Mondragon Corporation. I suppose that your business would be impacted by regulation. How are you managing this regulation, different regulations across the different countries? Thank you so much.
Good question. So again, there's 2 points. There are 2 points into the tech stack. When it comes to the consumer side, the mega trends that are driving this is essentially cost-reflective tariffs and the availability of smart meters for cost-reflective tariffs. In that case, Europe is mostly ripe for it, I would say, minus Germany. On the other side, when it comes to deploying it into the markets, there are some regulations specifically for ancillary service markets. But this is a very nascent space, so it's evolving as we are working, and it looks very different across the countries. It's not that dependent on regulation as you may think at the high level.
Hey, hi, Alexis from HCVC here. You said you were the #1 player in Sweden, I think. Could you tell us a bit more about your traction?
So we have about 15 contracts in total. 5 of them are in US, where I'm actually based myself. We're a Swedish company. One, we just gotten into Central Europe in Austria, and the rest is in Sweden. The signed base ARR is around $1 million, and we're expanding on that as we go on month from month. But it's a very hot space right now.
And how much capital have you raised so far?
So far, $5.5 million. I think the next round will be round about maybe 6 to 10 million or something. And we're hoping to open that now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Toby Gill, CEO of IP Energy. Remember, you have 3 minutes, sir. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. So I'm Toby Gill, CEO of IPG Energy. And what we've developed is a clean, fuel-agnostic generator powered by our patented flameless combustion technology to replace the diesel generator. Now, as a replacement to the diesel generator, there are a few boxes you kind of have to tick, and our generator does that. it can be zero carbon. It's fuel agnostic, so it means that it can operate on nice renewable fuels like green hydrogen, as well as biofuels and any other fuel you want to throw into the mix of that. It's pollutant-free, so it's not going to kill people when you're running it, which is always a good thing. And finally, it's economically viable. Sure, it's a little bit more expensive than the diesel generator, but it's low cost enough and financially structured sensibly so that our end customers can get it on their sites and make use of it. So fantastic. Problem solved, right? No. Lots of technology solve that problem, but also the diesel generator market is set to nearly double to $30 billion by the end of the decade. So it doesn't really feel like that's the problem to solve. The problem to solve is scalability. How do we get these solutions out there and actually replacing diesel generators? Now, to replace that and do that and have it to be scalable, you need to have access to a scalable supply of fuel. What that means is you've got to be able to know that you can turn this thing on. It's no good if you can't get hold of your hydrogen. You've also got to be able to make this thing from materials that are widely available. If you don't have those widely available materials, then it doesn't matter how good your thing is. And then finally, you've got to be able to make it. You've got to have methods of manufacturing it that mean that you could do this in the tens, if not hundreds of thousands in time. So, no surprise, that's the problem we solve. We solve that by being able to call upon any fuel supply chain. To point out the obvious, right? We can use any renewable fuel. So if one suddenly gets cheaper or more expensive or the availability changes, we can switch up the blend. But crucially as well, it also can call upon conventional fuel supply chains to ensure that you always will have the lights on. It's a relatively simple bit of technology, don't tell my engineers that, but it means it's made from widely available materials from increasingly circular and low carbon supply chains. Stainless steel, copper, a bit of aluminium, some widely available ceramics. And it's a bit of turbo machinery, a bit boring, but basically it means that it's possible to make this from existing supply chains all over the world in automotive, oil and gas sectors. Basically, we can outsource the production of this to anyone, anywhere. So we started small because basically we didn't want to, I've only got 30 seconds, so we started small, 50 kilowatt generator, perfectly suited for our beachhead market of construction. It's cost effective, it's good for them, marvelous. Traction. We have completed a £1 million prototype project with National Highways in the UK. We're now about to undertake the first of our commercial trials in the construction sector on a Yars UK construction project, and we're lining up all these other big construction companies to go even further, so we're very excited for that. And so if you want to learn more about how the flameless combustion thing we've developed actually works, or our fundraising, love to answer some questions. I'll speak to you later. 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Perfect timing. Jury, you have 2 minutes. Questions?
Yves Furcher from SmartWorks Innovation.
Hi.
Great pitch. Thanks a lot. I mean, established supply chains, quite easy to build tech. What's the catch here? Why isn't everyone doing this?
Well, exactly, because I think basically we have challenged the paradigm, right? We've said that we come out and often spoken to some of you already, and we say, look, yeah, actually we think part of the answer to getting away from diesel is to enable customers to keep using diesel. If all the renewable fuel existed that we wanted to do this with, we wouldn't have this problem. So we are trying to challenge the paradigm a bit, and also it's taken us about 6 years to get to the point of actually being able to make it work. So we're only now really able to start telling you the story of why this is going to work.
Hi, David Janashvili. I run climate tech investment banking with CIBC. 2 questions. One is, I think on a supply chain or the existing infrastructure supporting diesel, does this require servicing? Do your systems require servicing and require special training for service folks and personnel? And second is it able to run at different voltages and also eliminate wet stacking and light loading, things like that diesels are?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So from a maintenance perspective, as a new tech, it's not that we would have to upskill some of the existing service engineers, but crucially, anyone who can service a diesel generator and is familiar with turbochargers and things like that, which is basically all of them, they could do it. Obviously, it's just a new product, so they'd need to have a little bit of upskilling to understand how to do this, but no new skills required, crucially. And then the second part was the... Yeah, so yeah, we use we do our own conversion within the converter, so we can spec it to whatever is needed. Typically, we're doing 240 or 400 volts out at the moment for the construction. No, we can do DC or AC or anything basically, right? So yeah, scalable to whatever the end use is needed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Next up, Alexander Sohl, CEO and co-founder of Me Energy GmbH. Remember, you have 3 minutes, and jury then 2. Good luck.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Alex, co-founder of Me Energy. Everything will have a battery, from cars to buses and trucks. The question will be where to charge them. And we're missing 20% of charging infrastructure by 2030, and that is according to McKinsey and all of our customers. And that is because of the grid, because there are just too high costs and long time for extensions. There are technical hurdles, and in the future we'll need more resilient options than the grid because there will be blackouts. And that is why we said, as a complementary solution to the grid, there must be off-grid charging. That is the missing puzzle piece. 150 kilowatts we can offer today in a container you can place anywhere you want. You don't need any permissions to run it, and it's easily delivered by truck. It has 4 megawatt hours or up to 40 megawatt hours with additional storage, and it is resilient because it's running anytime you need it. How does this work? We are also using on-site generation, not only from solar and wind you can integrate, but also from organic waste liquids. Methanol, ethanol, DME, and all the derivatives. It has 20 times more energy density than a battery, and the generation is 2 times more efficient than if you would use it directly in a car. And the best thing about it is we're saving 50% emissions, scope 1 to 3, compared to solar. We turn that into a product, and that is for the first time charging as a service. We can use all the financial options out there available, and that is a game changer for the charging infrastructure. It is highly profitable from just 4 car charges per day, or the best thing, just 1 truck charge per day. And that is also accepted in the market with customers like MAN. They're saving 24% of their costs. BASF, 18%, and they did a follow-up order of 1 million after the first pilot, or a sixth with a 4.2 million follow-up order. And there are more and more customers we already signed, and a lot of them are lined up. So last year we achieved 2.1 million revenue, and the best thing is we don't achieve only revenue, but we saved almost 2 kilotons of carbon dioxide. This year we're expanding to Spain, the UK, and France, and we have 10 million revenue of all of it is signed already. And along the way we scale up to 50 million of revenue. There will be new products on the way. We are increasing the power to 400 kilowatts, and also offer standalone generation for other use cases, for example, like construction site use or dual use case like generator use on the way. We, that is a team, me, my co-founder, who are all experienced in the industry, a lot of automotive, a lot of electronics, and also Airbus. And we raised to date 8 million of equity. And as a startup, I want to highlight we have 3 million of bank credit for production pre-financing. We are not only accepted in the industry, but we have a huge network, especially of OEMs, where a lot of business angels are from Porsche, Seat, and of the VW group. And with us, we convinced to date a lot of motivated change makers that wanted to make a change today. Thank you.
Jury, you have 2 minutes. Questions?
Thanks for the pitch. Could you elaborate on how your charging station gets charged? I didn't really get that.
Yes, so there's wind and solar we can integrate. If that's not available, we offer generator on the site, and that is powered by liquids. Liquids, organic waste liquids, methanol, ethanol, DME, and all of those derivatives. So those are regularly refilled. If you're with us, we offer you a utility contract, you pay per kilowatt hour, and we manage the operations in the back. We do so in Germany and Poland today. We're now expanding to France and the UK. So we manage that there will be a tank truck coming to your charging station, refilling it whenever you need it. Usually that's 2 weeks to 4 weeks of time for a customer.
You mentioned you had a credit line. I'm just curious, how do you manage to scale, or do you plan to scale long-term without using too much capital?
So outsourcing production was the first milestone we achieved this year. We have 2 production partners in Poland. So then there are payment targets. Right now we are at 30% down payment, and we want to reduce that obviously. And that is possible through other financing options. So without capital intense production, you can scale. And that is the key. So we leverage that now by 3 million credit line, only 30% of down payment. And also we get down payments from our customers. That is something. And since we can all use the financial instruments, we can use factoring, we can use leasing. So that is something where we can use everything that is out there to make a capital-intense business not capital-intense. And that is powered by a mobile solution because you can use all the financing options for cars. That is the key.
Hello, Falk Müller-Ferse from Bryan Garnier. So how much are you looking to raise as the next round, and how capital intensive is it going to be?
So Series A, 10 million, 6 million signed. 2 from existing, 4 from a Swiss infrastructure fund. 6 are open, happy to start the talks, mainly used for internationalization. As I said, production is covered by bank credit, so happy to start talking later today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we have Anand V, CEO at PEROVSKIA Solar AG. You have 3 minutes, remember, please.
Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Anand V. I'm the CEO and founder of PEROVSKIA Solar. Before I jump into the pitch, let me start my pitch with a simple question. So how many of you have an earbud, or Apple earbud or Samsung earbuds? Perfect. And how many of you don't want to charge it again? Perfect. I have a solution for you. So at PEROVSKIA, our vision is to enable solar on every device. It's a spin-off of a research center in Switzerland where I used to work as a scientist. Moving forward, there's a projection from EU that there will be 78 million batteries will be discarded every single day. 78 million batteries. And only less than 5% of the batteries are ever recycled. With this problem, there's another one that our life, because of our digital lifestyle, the number of electronic devices is increasing exponentially. On an average, a human has 7 electronic devices with him or her. And there is no reliable portable energy source. At PEROVSKIA, what we have developed is a simple digital printing technique by which we can simply print the solar cell in any shape, size, and design, and works under any light. That means our solar cell works here, indoors with any light, and is the world's most efficient solar cell when you consider it both indoor and outdoor application. And it can simply integrate on your watch, for example, here. So you don't have to charge it again. With our technology, what we can do is we can revolutionize our digital lifestyle and provide unlimited free energy. We have several products in the market, and one of the products won the CES Innovation Award in Las Vegas. With our technology, we are a B2B company, and as I said, in the market, have already an old slide, now 3 customers going to production, and we have the capability to produce 20 to 50,000 a year, and now setting up a factory. We have inquiries with our 22 customers for 2 million solar cell plus, and with this, we can already see a revenue of 4 to 10 million, have a strong pipeline to follow up, and a team of me, Toby, and all which are veterans in the field and have worked in various generations of solar cells, and in total FTEs of 11, and with 4 amazing advisors to kind of take it to the next level. With our technology in our first year, we made 300K close to revenue, and this year we are closing into 1 million revenues with our production contracts, and by 2028, we can scale it up and sell 60 to 70 million devices and be one of the unicorns from the Switzerland. Moving forward, we are high on sustainability, not only saving batteries, but also have potential of saving 2 million tons of CO2, as well as our technology is recyclable. We don't use any critical raw materials. And setting up this factory, if you're in Switzerland, happy to welcome you. And with that, I would like to close my pitch and happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. Jury, you have 2 minutes. Questions?
Hi, Jordi Klaassen from Minico Ventures. For example, for the watch example you sketched, could you give me an example of the percentage increase of what a consumer could... Yeah.
Yes, so we did a calculation for Garmin watch. For example, the current Garmin watch lasts for 12 days as per their specs. If you use our solar cell, depending on how sporty you are, it can give you 6 days more to 8 days more. So 16 to 18 days. With the current solar solution, you get from 12 to 14 days. From ours is 16 to 18 days. But the game changer is the IoT segment here. Devices like this is for a US customer. They sell 1 million of these each. We are working on 3 product categories. And here, you don't have to change the battery ever for the next 15 years. Currently, the customer changes 2 batteries a year. In 15 years, you're going to save 30 batteries. 2 batteries to start with, so 28 batteries each device. That's the potential we have. And multiply it by $2 a piece, that's no-brainer in terms of cost saving, as well as it just runs with any light. So make devices energy self-sufficient.
Hi, great pitch. I wanted to ask about the technology, but your name kind of give it away.
Yes.
I'm Eshel from Extantia Capital. I wanted to ask, considering the fact that you're using PEROVSKIA
Yes.
in the watch, how big is the degradation? How long this panel
Very good question. So PEROVSKIA, just for the audience, PEROVSKIA is known to die. So I started working on PEROVSKIA from 2015 onwards, and it took me 9 years to be here. And what we present is a solar cell that will last for 15 years, 10 to 15 years, and still retain 80% of performance. We proved that our solar cell passed 85 degrees Celsius, 80% relative humidity test for more than 1,000 hours with less than 20% degradation, as well as continuous running of the cell for more than 5,000 hours with 0% degradation under ambient conditions. And with that, sunlight is less than 20%.
Impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next up, Linda Maria Wadman, Chief Commercial Officer at Plexigrid. Remember, you have 3 minutes. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Linda Maria Wadman, Chief Commercial Officer at Plexigrid. The energy transition is expected to more than double electricity consumption, and this means immense challenges for electricity grids, especially on the distribution level. So this means congestions created, delays in connection of important renewable projects, and also rising costs. Even if we would have the resources and the finances to build the grid we need, the cost would be huge, and this is causing increased cost for normal people in their grid tariffs. At Plexigrid, we want to provide sustainable and affordable electricity to everyone by changing this traditional way of building grid capacity with hardware into a software-based solution where we increase capacity of existing assets by increasing the utilization. So this is an example of a normal street with an afternoon peak in Northern Europe. If we can reduce this peak using demand flexibility, we could save as much as 30 to 40% of the electricity distribution cost. And this is billions of euros on a global scale. The Plexigrid platform is a unique solution that enables this by providing a real-time digital twin with outstanding performance that can unlock visibility and control of flexibility all the way to low voltage and end customers. And our holistic approach of integrating one platform supporting the whole process from planning, operations, and maintenance of the grid. And our modularity also enables very efficient integration into the existing system infrastructure of the customers. So here I want to show you a real example of a customer where the colors symbolize the congestions in the grid. And this customer was enabled to use flexibility to eliminate almost all of the congestions, leaving only this one part in red where you still need to make a hardware upgrade of the capacity, saving huge amounts of capex. And here you have a street with several domestic EV chargers. Most of the time, the grid is managed completely fine, no constraints, except for a few hours where congestions are forming. By using smart charging here to reduce those peaks, you could add and connect many, many more EV chargers with zero grid investments. We have received a lot of recognition for our tech and our business last years, but the most prestigious one, I would say, is the European Innovation Council Accelerator that we secured, giving us a grant and an investment of 6.5 million euros. And we have been growing fast since 2020. Our technology is proven in Europe and in Oceania. And with EU regulation, the momentum is growing. EU is pushing for this change in regulation.
You there. Jury, you have 2 minutes for questions.
Thanks for the pitch. Can you talk a little bit about the sales cycles and the business model?
It's a SaaS business model, and the sales cycles are fairly long because these are regulated monopolies, so you need to go for public tendering for any larger deals. So typically we go in with pilots to make proof of concepts and to build trust in the technology, and then the customer hopefully writes their specification to suit our solution when they go out for the tendering.
Thank you.
Hello, Gabriel from Repsol. How many pilots have you done so far? And can you explain a bit more about how you differentiate from competition, please?
So we have 19 customers, a mix of pilots and half of them are real licenses already. And the differentiation, I would say, are three things: that we have the performance to manage these huge grids. I mean, distribution compared to transmission grids, you have so many nodes, so many customers that you have to use different type of technology to manage that in real time, to see forecast bottlenecks and then activate flexibility to solve them. And then we also have this, as I mentioned, the holistic approach to use one grid analytics supporting all the way from planning for flexibility, taking those plans into the operational context, and in the operational hour, activating flexibility based on the sort of the toolbox of ways you have to activate. Was there more in the question on the end? No. Crystal clear. Happy to talk more about this complex and exciting topic later.
Thank you very much. Time's up. Thank you. Next up, Marit Riis, Chief Operating Officer at PowerUp Energy Technologies. Remember, you have 3 minutes for your pitch. Good luck.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marit, and I'm the COO of PowerUp Energy Technologies. As you know, there is massive electrification happening all around the world, but the infrastructure is not getting renewed, and as a result, the power grid is failing us. Of course, there are batteries, but to be honest, to conquer the increasing number and duration of the power outages, batteries alone are no longer enough. They're heavy, they take up a lot of space, they are short in lifetime and are getting more expensive and dangerous. That is why we at PowerUp have developed a unique hydrogen fuel cell-based battery capacity extender technology to allow our customers to get more energy out of a cheaper and smaller system for longer. Our battery capacity extenders double the lifetime of battery packs and significantly decrease the initial capex investment. The system becomes lighter, smaller, and thus also portable, and not to mention safer. Our technology doesn't emit any CO2, is 95% recyclable, and thus will cut your carbon emissions in half compared to battery-only solutions. So how we can really make it happen is our own unique energy management system that allows us to combine batteries and fuel cells in the most optimal way, as well as our own patented and lightweight hydrogen fuel cell technology developed together with the European Space Agency. A fun fact, our fuel cells will also be deployed in the cargo ships and rovers going to missions on Mars and dark side of the moon. So we are already producing and selling in a variety of industries across the globe. We have customers in the telecommunication industry, defense and security, medical and pharma, as well as construction. And also a huge reason why we can make it happen is our amazing international team with 24 people from 11 different nations, with vast experience in fuel cell development, as well as sales and marketing. So we're already selling, and we have agreements in place to deliver close to 50,000 units in the upcoming years. So we are certain to break even by 2025. But to advance our business even further and to conquer new markets, we are currently also fundraising and looking for an additional investment of 7 million euros. So I hope I've sparked your interest in our technology. Please also check out our website, and let's keep talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jury, you have 2 minutes for questions.
I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood, but what is the product that you make? Is it the actual cell or is it a hybrid unit that incorporates a battery?
So we actually make both. So our core technology is our own fuel cell technology, which is patented. And we also incorporate this into our battery capacity extender technology, which is the end product for the customer that can be combined with batteries, for example.
And so it's like your own proprietary battery technology, or is it just like any NMC, LFP?
So not the battery technology, but the fuel cell-based battery capacity extender that can be then combined with the batteries to prolong the lifetime of batteries.
What's the capacity of batteries that your fuel cell can be combined with?
So it really depends on the power out, like the backup power needs of the customer, right? So we can go quite high, even like 50 kilowatt, for example, for the total output of the system. So it really depends on the power needs of the customer.
Mikael Myllymäki, Helen Ventures. Could you elaborate a bit on the capex and the short-run marginal cost for running the system and the key assumptions behind that?
Sorry?
Sorry, the capital expenditure and then the short-run marginal cost.
So the capex really, so for example, what I had on the slide as well, decreasing the capex, for example, even 3 times. We've had customers who, for a battery-only solution, would have had to pay 50,000 euros, and with our battery capacity extender could decrease it to 15,000 euros, for example, just to give you an example. But of course, it depends on the actual power needs of the customer, and thus also the size of the system.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Andres Anijalg, CEO and co-founder of Roofit Solar Energy. Remember, you have 3 minutes. Good luck.
Very good. Thank you. And good morning, brave people. I have 3 minutes, and I would like to leave you with 3 messages. And let's start with the first one. Basically, it is now decided that rooftop solar will be mandatory in Europe. The regulation has been discussed a long time, but now, actually a few weeks ago, it was approved by the European Parliament. And it will be the case. And at least we couldn't imagine the future looking like this. At least when we started the company back in 2017, we already thought it can be done better than that. And what we have also learned, this kind of regular solution is also pretty damaging to the roof and the roof itself. So here comes the second message. And the second message is actually a hypothesis, what we have. We think that the current roofing industry will be actually the solar industry in the future, because if every roof needs to have something to do with solar, it is a very logical step to combine roofing material and the solar into one product, so building integrated solar. And this is exactly what we do. We combine these 2 products into one in a way which is basically invisible. So the roof looks like a regular roof, but it generates electricity. And we can do all the type of roofs and also facades with this type of solution. We want to make it also very easy for the roofers, and that's why we supply also a software tool to actually simplify the design and sales of this type of modules. So where do we stand today? I think we have proven the traction. We have more than 1,000 installations in more than 20 countries. The revenue is growing, and really it's difficult to count the roofs already. But our most famous customer, Duncan, is from UK, because his roofs was presented at the Grand Design's TV show, and within 2 weeks we got 1,000 leads. And now it's time for the third message. I think we are one of the leading BIPV companies today, and we have a very clear plan where we want to go. Point 1, we know how to cut our product cost to be actually more cost effective than a regular system today. Point two, we have a very unique last mile, or how we go to the market strategy. And as an example, we go to the market through the existing large roofing companies. And we want to earn revenue from each roof, what we do. Break even is expected in 2025, and in order to do that, we are looking with our happy team for 6 million euros additional revenue. Thank you very much.
Jury, you have 2 minutes for questions, please.
I'm just curious, so Tesla couldn't really make it work with their solar tiles. How come you can make it work? What did you crack that they couldn't?
Basically, what we are using a roofing material which is bigger in size, not the small tiles, because producing small tiles and connecting small tiles is it's expensive. So we are using metal roofing, which is very durable roofing material, and where we can actually do it in a pretty big size as one unit. That's why we can do it in an economical way.
Could you elaborate a bit more on the cost perspective with also like existing PV panels, the cost coming down, and how do you manage to stay competitive in that space?
Basically, we need here to compare apples to apples, and the apple-to-apple comparison for us is new roof plus traditional solar panel compared to our two-in-one solution. And at the moment, for example, when we sell in Germany, we are around 15% more expensive than this traditional solution. When we 15. When we can do the cost reduction of the 50%, which I showed by outsourcing our production, at the moment we produce ourselves, but we see in longer term it doesn't make sense to compete with the Chinese on the production side. We are more on the delivering and last mile servicing side. We see that we are below the standard solution pricing.
Thinking as a customer, like 15 years from now, if I bought your solution and you are not producing this product anymore, and I have a damage, so can I replace one of these sort of part of the roof with a commodity product?
Yes. Time is up, but I can tell you later more. You can take the module out, you can replace it with conventional roofing material, and we actually, usually our partners have a warranty stock as well for quite some time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next up, Nicolas Weber, CEO and co-founder of Voltiris. Remember, you have 3 minutes. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, I'm Nicolas. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Voltiris, and today I'll present to you how we deliver sustainable energy to greenhouses. So greenhouse operators are under a lot of pressure because of the increasing energy prices. So their costs have gone up. They went from about 20% of their OPEX in energy to about 40%, which has impacted their profitability. There's also a lot of instability in future energy prices, which reduces the ability of growers to commit to their long production cycles. And finally, there are also increasing demands to improve their sustainability. The largest retailer in Switzerland, Migros, is now requiring all greenhouse operators to be carbon neutral in energy by 2026. Greenhouses represent a huge surface that we could tap in to produce renewable energy. Globally, we're talking about 25 gigawatt of power that could be installed on high-tech greenhouses. However, existing solutions cannot convince growers to be adopted because they all shade greenhouses. So if you put solar panels on top of the greenhouse, you're going to reduce the amount of light that comes in, and therefore the ability of the crops to perform their photosynthesis and therefore to grow. And that's where we come in with Voltiris. We apply spectral filtering technology with films like this one, where we filter the light coming from the sun. The part of the light spectrum necessary for the growth of the crops goes through our solution and is transmitted to them so that they can grow in the regular way. The part of the crop of the light not used by photosynthesis is harvested and transformed into renewable energy that can be then used to power the greenhouse itself. We also know that our solution can be retrofitted into existing greenhouses, so we can work with the infrastructure that has already been installed. And our production is also behind the meter, so it's very well suited for self-consumption and competitive in regards of its price. Here you can see some of our units deployed in greenhouses. So on the left-hand side, we're working, for example, with the largest cherry tomato producer of Switzerland. What's also nice with our solution is that we're inside the greenhouse, meaning that we don't need any building permits in order to deploy the solution. To growers, we offer them an energy contract, meaning that they don't pay for the asset itself, they pay for the energy that they consume, and therefore they don't need any capital in order to adopt and benefit from our solution. In regards of traction, so we were created in 2022. Since that, we've achieved last year with about 250,000 Swiss francs or euros in sales. We've demonstrated that our solution works on the agronomic and energetic side. And now we're scaling up the size of our projects, thanks to also collaboration that we have ongoing with utility companies in Switzerland, and also with 3M for the manufacturing of those films. So this year, we're on track to close the year with about 1 million in sales. That will be conducted over 3 projects that are now pre-confirmed or confirmed. And behind Voltiris, we have a strong team of complementary co-founders. So Jonas and Dominique are the brains behind what we do. They have backgrounds in physics and engineering. And myself, so I have a background in business and strategy consulting. And with us, we also have a team with expertise in commercial, tech and engineering, finance and project development and operations. And I hope that you'll join us in deploying renewable energy in greenhouses. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Jury, you have 2 minutes for questions, please.
Hi. Adi Wadman from E44 Ventures. How do you compare to semi-transparent PVs? And can you control red, blue, and the relevant colors?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's actually a good question, in the sense that semi-transparent solar cells, even if they look like transparent, you still lose quite a lot of transmissivity. I think one of the best companies out there has 80% transmissivity in the power light, meaning that growers would lose 20% of the relevant light for the crops. When you talk with growers, particularly Dutch growers, they would tell you that 1% less light is 1% less yield. So that means that even with semi-transparent solar cells, you'd have a yield reduction that is about 20% for the crops, which is not acceptable for high-tech greenhouse operators. On top of that, there are a lot of challenges regarding retrofitting, installation on regular greenhouses that I won't go into now. But I think the main point is the market access. And thanks to our solution, we have market access because we've tested it also with Dutch growers with the most sensitive crops that are tomatoes.
I'm just curious about, can you tell us a bit more about the capital requirements and working capital requirements of the energy as a service model?
Thanks. So the main point with this is that we don't want the asset to be in our balance sheet because then we would not be capital intensive. And I'm sure that the investors that are here would not like me deploying money into the asset. So what we do at the moment is that we work with utility companies that buy the asset from us and then sell the energy back to the growers. That helps us validate that growers are willing to subscribe to long-term energy contracts, that we're also, the unit economics that we can offer to asset managers are also positive, and that also helps us to deploy quickly with them. Down the line, the idea is that we deploy it also ourselves, but in a separate entity probably, or with different vehicles. There are a lot of solutions in order to finance those assets.
And what kind of gross margins can you achieve?
Time is up. Sorry.
Let's discuss that towards the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you for participating in this first track. Both the contestants and the jury, a magnificent job. Thank you very much. We will start with the second track in a few minutes, 11 o'clock, okay?